Are you aware of the potential reasons why you might need to amend your taxes? From overlooked investment statements to complex family dynamics impacting dependents, Jeff explores various scenarios that could prompt tax return revisions. Let's dive in.
Today in the program, let's talk about maybe some of the reasons why you might have to amend your taxes.
That's right, because, as we're preparing returns right now, there could be information that we're not even aware of that affects their return for this year. And later on, when the IRS kind of starts matching up their data, if it doesn't match, the IRS is going to send out a letter, and that letter might result in you having to amend your return.
So what would be some of the reasons why the IRS would send you something that you don't already have that you would have to amend? Like, what would be some examples?
I think it's mostly just things that you probably forgot.
Okay.
So one of the things is that, especially this year, there's been quite a few investment companies that have merged with other investment companies. TD Ameritrade actually merged with Schwab, and E-Trade merged with Morgan Stanley. So if you were used to getting TD Ameritrade or E-Trade statements and you filed your return assuming that that's all you needed, you might have missed an additional Schwab or Morgan Stanley statement that you should have reported.
Gotcha.
Those only reported for part of the year, and then the company that merged with them reported that income for the rest of the year. So you really need two to file that same amount of income.
Sure. So what does it really mean then to amend the taxes? I mean, are there penalties that you have paid because you have to amend it, or like not necessarily?
Yeah, mostly it's interest. But if your income is understated by a substantial amount, there could be interest and penalties. There's other things too, Terry, like, we talked about in the past about these qualified charitable distributions where people over 70.5 can put money right from their IRA into charities. Well, that's not reported anywhere on that 1099. It's pretty much the taxpayer has to tell us that they did this, or we're never going to know. And that could result in actually them amending a return and getting a refund, which sometimes is a good thing.
Sure, absolutely. And I think, that's where having these upfront conversations with your advisor, such as you guys, is critical and key, because without all the information, you can't fully prepare, shall we say, their taxes.
And that's exactly right, Terry. And it even goes further than that. So not only the taxpayers talking to us, but taxpayers talking to their kids. Because the other thing that we see for having to amend returns is, let's say that your son or daughter, they work at, a restaurant, or they work somewhere, not enough to really file a return, but enough to file to get that withholding back.
Okay.
So the child just goes ahead and they file their return to get their withholding back, but they claim themselves as a dependent by checking that box. Well, now the parents want to claim them as a dependent, and the return gets rejected because two people can't claim the same person.
Sure.
So that's going to result in an amended return for the child, a paper return for the parent, and a big delay in getting that refund back.
I was going to say, and that's the biggest thing, right? I mean, like the delays in all of this, especially if you're getting a refund, you don't want to wait that long before you get the refund.
Really, that's correct. Because with the way e-filing and direct deposits of refunds, I mean, the refunds are coming pretty quickly now, whether it's for the IRS or for the states. But once you slow that process down, I mean, it could be 6 weeks, 8 weeks, we've even seen 9 months before people have gotten the refunds back. So you really want to make sure that you're kind of covering all your bases when you get your tax return prepared.
Jeff, a lot of great information here on the program. How do our listeners connect with the team over at Hawkins Ash?
I would go right to our website, which is hawkinsash.cpa. We have that great section. It's the CPA HQ section. But also, Terry, stuff like this, all of our social media sites.